Good day and welcome to CTU Training Solutions. In the short video, we would like to share with you the blended learning methodologies that CTU will be implementing as of 2017 as part of the academic process. Today I'm with the Group Academic Director, Anna Ferreira. Anna, welcome.
Good morning and thank you very much.
Anna, could you please elaborate more on the blended learning methodology that CTU will be implementing as of 2017?
Yes, certainly. In 2014, CTU decided to go green and therefore implement the electronic textbooks, which is our Safari books. We've got about 48,000 titles in the Safari books, which students can then use for their learning and their research components. We've also decided to go with electronic portfolios of evidence, where students can upload their electronic assessments to the portal and the assessors and moderators can assess electronically.
The Generation Y of today is very optimistic and, as you can see, they expect immediate feedback. This generation has a very short attention span and they are highly visual learners. This generation expects technologies to be incorporated into their studies, and therefore CTU Training Solutions has implemented the blended learning approach to teaching and learning. Could you please describe blended learning for us?
Blended learning means that students learn via digital and online media. It doesn't mean that students don't come to class anymore. They still have instructor-led theoretical and practical classroom training. However, there might be some periods and activities that they will do without a facilitator.
What kind of technologies would students need in order to implement the blended learning approach?
Yes, since 2014, as part of our marketing collateral, CTU has advertised that students need their own device as well as at least 1 gig of data to do their research and to access their Safari books, and that will remain for 2017.
The Generation Z or Generation 2020 will have a major impact on the workplace. This is the first generation born into the internet-connected world. Because their use of technology has developed the visual portion of their brain, visual forms of learning are more effective for these learners. The use of software, hardware and digital technologies are more effective for these learners. Instead of reading this information, this generation wants a video that summarizes it all. The Generation Z are kinesthetic learners who likes experimental hands-on learning. They get bored very quickly and they want to move on to the next thing. And could you please elaborate more on the different types of blended learning that CTU will be implementing?
Yes, first of all, let me explain the timetable. Our timetable used to run previously either a morning session or an afternoon session. In 2017, that will change. We will have a timetable that runs from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 in the afternoon, and students will then have certain periods throughout the day. We do try to cluster the periods together. However, there will be days when students will have 2 periods on, 1 period off, and then another period or 2 throughout the day. Then also in 2016, CTU has moved over to the modular system that universities are using. This modular system means that you've got a semester 1 and a semester 2, and that you would write off certain modules in the first semester as well as in the second semester. As far as your blended learning methodologies being used, the first one is the theoretical component. And in this case, we will use the flipped classroom approach. Now, flipped classroom approach means that the students has got their lesson plans and study guides beforehand, which will indicate which lesson will be done the next day. Students will then go and do self-study, read up on the activities that needs to be covered, and then come to the classroom, and the facilitator will then facilitate questions and answer sessions, and in the same time making sure that the outcomes for both the national and the international certification is covered. The second approach is the practical component, which is the lab periods or lab components, where students still have the instructor in the classroom and they will work through the labs and the facilitator will coach and guide them through that. The students will, however, after the lab periods, still have time to book periods in a lab environment where they can further practice their lab activities. The next one is group activities, and this will not necessarily be with a facilitator or instructor. The facilitator will in the classroom divide the students into groups and give them the activities to do on their own. The students will then go and then do the activities and come back to the classroom with the theoretical periods and come and present the feedback on that. The research activities is the next one, where the students will work individually without an instructor, and they will use their Safari and online books to then do research on certain activities. And the last one is your self-study. Within the timetables that I've explained previously, it might be that students will have one day of no class, and that will then be utilized for self-study throughout the week. It is more and more important for students to take accountability and responsibility for their own learning. With the group and research activities, CTU aim to prepare the students for the world of work. We would like to enhance their critical thinking skills, their teamwork ability, problem-solving skills, as well as the ability to collect, analyze, and critically evaluate information.
Anna, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us on the different blended learning methodologies that CTU will be implementing.
Thank you very much.
To everyone else, CTU would like to wish you a success in 2017. Goodbye.